Well, hello and welcome back to another video. I've been meaning to make this video for the last few days, but yet again we've had some horrendous sustained winds again. Yesterday it was gale force winds nearly all day here, and Wednesday wasn't much better, and so this is the first real quite stiller chance for me to sit out here without getting blown away. But I hope you're doing all okay, and I just wanted to bring it to all the attention of every gardener. I know there's quite a few gardeners look at this, my few little videos, and for what it's worth, what I ramble on about, and thank you for all your kind comments as always, and for subscribing to the channel. But I thought this was a bit of an April Fool's joke until I sort of read more into it. As of April the 1st, in the UK, the vast majority of the little blue slug pellets are now officially banned. You cannot buy them anymore, and you certainly can't, if you've got any left, you shouldn't be using them on your garden. Now I don't know whether the slug pellet police are going to come round and fine you if they see you using them on your garden, or how that would work, or if you've got some neighbours that might take offence to you and they see you using them. But I that's the official line from DEFRA, which is that government department in the UK that deals with all this thing. Apparently this goes right back to 2018, when the government made the decision to ban these metaldehyde. It's metaldehyde formulation of slug pellets that are going to be banned. In 2018 they brought, wonderful idea, let's do this, it's killing, they think it's killing an awful lot of birds, which I'm sure it probably is, and that's killing birds secondary wise, because birds tend to eat the slugs before they finally die, so the slugs are being poisoned, the birds then go and eat the slugs, or snails, and the birds get a secondary poisoning because the slug pellets have half killed the slugs already, and the birds don't realise that. Also, birds will take the slug pellets and try and eat them. Hedgehogs are one of the biggest victims of these metaldehyde slug pellets over the years. They reckon it's devastated the hedgehog population. So in my view, and I'm not going to say I have never used them, because when one of these videos I shall do you a video and tell you all about my many years allotment gardening, and I had a huge swathe of allotment land that I used to grow all manner of vegetables on many years ago. And when I first took that on, I was surrounded by vacant allotment plots of long grass, brambles all around me, and trying to grow in those conditions with the snails and slugs was tremendously difficult. So I did occasionally use a few of the slug pellets then, but I haven't used any on this garden here for many years now. Certainly these are these metaldehyde type ones. To my original where I lost the drift a bit. Yes, this was meant to be brought in 2018, but DEFRA, and that's their government body that does all this farming and kerfuffle like that, they did something or didn't do something right, and it was a mistake on their part, and the company that makes a lot of these metaldehyde slug pellets appealed and had that first ban overturned, I believe. But then this secondary ruling has come in, and as April the 1st, 2022, these metaldehyde slug pellets are now banned to be used in garden, farming, whatever. Now, as you know, I always like to look at things on both sides of the equation. These have been in use since the 1940s in this country. When we developed, after the last Second World War, we developed huge strides in pesticides and all manner of things in agriculture to try and grow more food. And you know, farmers were encouraged to rip hedges up, make bigger fields, buy more machinery, and use these modern pesticides and the likes of metaldehyde slug pellets. They were used in farming, and I believe still are used in farming. And one wonders how this is going to affect certainly the likes of, say, sugar beet growers and potato growers, who I know have used these slug pellets in the past on big acreage fields when they're growing potatoes, because apparently this ban is only in force in the UK. The rest of the European Union, which I think is another 21 or 22 countries, correct me if I'm wrong there or right, I don't know, I'm sure it's 21 or 22 countries, have not banned these slug pellets. So I think our farmers are, you know, saying, you know, well, hang on, they've got a little bit of an advantage now. You know, they could probably grow bigger yields. People probably don't realise the damage slugs do to certainly a potato harvest. You know, when I was growing an awful lot of potatoes on my allotment, and probably a third of those potatoes, you know, you had to use up pretty quickly. You couldn't store them and keep them over the winter because they've got slug holes and slug damage on them. They were fine, you could cut that out, and it's a potato you can use. But you can imagine supermarkets and the likes of our modern retail outlets aren't going to want to buy or sell potatoes with slug holes in. So I don't know about this. And when I ask myself, will this in turn put more pressure on food prices as farmers have to find alternative, you know, things to use and probably grow in smaller crops? But on the garden front, I think it's a great idea. I'm all for it. You know, these little blue slug pellets, I'm sure you've all seen them. There's some, they are quite nasty. As I say, they can be lethal to the likes of hedgehogs, who there again eat slugs and snails. Any bird life. I think it has decimated the thrush population as well. Although I have to say, round here, it's not so much blue slug pellets that have done that. It's domesticated cats, sadly, that have. Cats seem to love finding and destroying thrush nests, which is very sad. But obviously, slug pellets have done an awful lot of damage, not only to our wild animals, but they've harmed and poisoned a lot of dogs that have picked them up off the gardens as well. So I'm all for it. I think it's a great idea. We've all got to look at alternative, and we've all tried the different alternative methods, whether I mean, interestingly enough, I looked at this just before I did this video. I like to try and get a little bit clued up. And would you believe snail and slug damage is one of the most asked questions that the Royal Horticultural Society get asked in the UK, how to deal with, you know, snails and slugs. So you can see it's a vast problem. And I have over the years tried everything from dried holly leaves, round sort of things like lupins. They're very prickly, and you know, it's a bit of a barrier. Slugs and snails don't like going over them. You can use horticultural grit, which is another very rough sort of terrain. If you put a little circle round, eggshells, I'm believed, is another one you can try. Coffee grounds. There is even, I believe, a wool product that you can put round to deter slugs and snails. But on the you know, when you look at it, this is all very small scale, probably fine for a small garden, but if you're growing large amounts of, you know, crops, it's certainly not going to be possible to go and put eggshells down, or, you know, holly leaves, or grit. It's going to cost you a fortune in horticultural grit. So I don't know what the answer is, but I'm all for the ban, and I just wanted to, you know, let everybody know that if you have any slug pellets left, you should dispose of them safely, as it says. I think you can. There is going to be some sort of scheme where you could take them to recycling centres, or there again, I think if you disposed of them in your general rubbish waste, although that would perhaps get into landfill that way, wouldn't it? So I don't really know, you know, I should look online in your area, you know, what to do with them, basically, because that is another issue with these. It has been known that these, you know, get into water courses, and obviously that can then, you know, poison the water to a degree. So very nasty things. I'm pleased. It won't affect me in my, you know, small garden here. I shall persevere with the more organic solutions. I think, and I've made a note of this because I can't remember these words, I think it is still going to be okay to use ferric phosphate or iron phosphate slug pellets that are made in that way, that don't contain this metaldehyde. I think there will be some slug pellets, you know, commercial slug pellets that you can buy if, you know, as I say, you're in a high area. As I say, I know allotments suffer tremendously from slugs and snails in some areas, as do all gardens really. But I think what I've found basically is, if you can get the natural predator, you know, the predators of slugs and snails up, i.e. a small nature pond helps if you can encourage toads and frogs and grass snakes. We have all those in our little pond. They do take care of a lot of these slugs and snails. As you know, if you look through some of my old videos, we're very lucky here and have badgers visit most night. I do sometimes swear about them because they dig holes in the garden, but they're such a lovely animal. There again, they will take slugs, and certainly slugs. I'm not sure about snails because obviously with the shell on them. But yeah, if you can get the natural predators of snails and slugs up in your, you know, garden, and encourage the birds in. And, you know, I wish we used to have so many song thrushes around here, which used to have like what they call thrushes' anvils. They'd find a stone in the garden, or even if you put an old brick out, they would go and hunt the snails and then break them open on this brick or stone, and you could hear them tapping away, you know, cracking the snail shells. But as I say, sadly, we have very, very few and far between song thrushes left here now. And I sincerely believe around here, you know, I'm not anti-cat. I love all animals, but you know, I've been told it's sadly, you know, in many more built up areas, and we're in a village here, it is often domestic cats that, you know, deter thrushes from now building nests in gardens. I think they're still out there, and although the population has fallen dramatically. So yeah, that's just a little video there that as of the 1st of April, metaldehyde slug pellets are now banned, those blue slug pellets that anyway, as always, that's enough from me rambling on about that. I hope you're all well, and so I've been trying to do this little video now for 2 or 3 days, but the wind has prevented me. So anyway, until next time, my very best wishes to you all. Thank you to everybody that has subscribed and comments. Really lovely to get your comments, it's super. And good gardening wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch up with you very soon. And Bye for now.